Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. Okay. How do I explain what I'm doing? Okay, so here's the deal. Facebook and that damn AI. I'm telling you, they need to get human people back on the job. I'm not kidding you. Okay, hold on. Let me remember I love Jesus. There we go. Okay, let me just minimize this. La, la, la. Peaceful and zen. Okay, here's what's happening. None of my Facebook things are turned on right now. Why? Because this morning when I was posting or sharing out my reel, like I do every morning, you are abusing something. They said I was how am I going to abuse sending stuff to my own stuff? So anyway, some kind of account restriction thing. I'm like, that's some hacker. That ain't real. Clearly it was, because now I tried to come in and I have to reset the password. And you're like, well, what is it? And then I put in Owen. That was 2 months ago. So anyway, I'm in the midst of jumping through their hoops to almighty AI God. So I'm going to get two of the experts because we have a new one here today. And Jamie Lane, badass Jamie Lane, is telling me her son Brendan's school times have changed. She's going to try to get on if she can, which probably means she can't. You know when that boo. And then Tracy's coming, the reset coach. She's just a little late. But, oh, who let you in? Hi, D. Grant Smith. Let's pretty up the screen. Oh, there she is, our new one. I'm sorry you have to come with all these technical difficulties your first day in class. Nice to meet you or see you again, Emily Nader. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
It's dark over here.
Where are you?
California.
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles.
Thank you for getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, you got up before that. Thank you
Wouldn't
for being
miss
here.
it. Of course.
Yeah, tell everybody what you do, and then D. Grant, you can say hello while y'all are chatting. I'm gonna dip out. D. Grant, take the show for a minute, and I'm gonna get in here and try to jump through the hoops real quick. I'll be right back.
So, Emily, tell us about you, your story, what you do, how awesome you are.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I am a holistic health and nutrition coach. I also do strength coaching. I've been learning lifelong for a while, but more consciously in the area of health for maybe the last 10 years or more. So just learning a lot and continuing to help other people do the same thing for themselves.
Awesome. When you talk about holistic health, like, will you give a little bit more specifics about what that means for you and like maybe some
Yeah.
specific ways that you help people?
Yeah. So holistic for me started with just kind of getting back to the roots of who I am genuinely as a person and kind of removing all the stuff that was clouding what I felt like was kind of dragging me down a bit. So noticing certain things in my life, certain people, certain drugs, all that stuff, and just kind of removing it so I can get down to like who I am at my roots and like healing from that point. And I guess in terms of helping other people, maybe it's not that intense. It really just depends on the individual and where they're at. But I always meet people where they are today or who they are like in that moment. And we work from there based off of their specific goals and getting just, yeah, closer to their goal, which usually ends up uncovering the roots and like getting down to that like core, like who we are at our core.
Well, I appreciate you using root metaphors because I am a metaphorical person, and my whole platform is built around the principle that at our roots, which are love, that's where all of the goodness comes from our lives. And the more that we plant and sow and cultivate love within, the more that we are producing that with our lives, and the more we're attracting that into our lives. So I'm curious, when you talked about learning who you are at your roots, like, will you describe that a little bit?
Yeah. And hearing you say that too, I totally agree. Learning who I am at my roots kind of just, I started by like reflecting like on my life and the things that made me happy, the things that brought me joy, and what is that for me, and kind of getting back to doing those things and igniting that like spark back in myself. And a lot of it had to do with love and like learning how to love myself. There were a lot of situations and people in my life that were reflecting that back to me and like illuminating that I didn't love myself enough ultimately. So learning how to do that more and more.
Awesome. I resonate with that. That was my story too.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I was listening and it sounded great. Thank you so much, D. Grant. And thank you, Emily. So listen, Tracy is going to be joining us in a bit from her phone. So that means she's probably in the car. And That's coffee. No, I'm not peeing underneath the bed.
I love the
Somebody
fact that he like immediately goes there. Like we'd even be suspicious of that in any way, shape, or form.
because somebody put it in the comments once when I blew
I'll
up a
pretend
gas.
That's
it's mine.
one person,
I
Lauren.
know, but it traumatized me, and I have a complex now because I just like, oh, that a horrible image. You know, I'm a very image-based person, so it was like, I was like, no,
Just burn the image.
I know it. I can't get rid of it. So, we have a topic today, and then I want to show a little video, that kind of kicks things off. But the topic today, I can't get out of my own head about. None of the Facebook things are connected. It's just on it's on E360 and all the television spots, and then my YouTube, but none of my Facebook. And that's where everybody that likes to interact is probably where are they? Where are they? So I've put a little messages out on my Facebook. Go over there. So we'll see. But I did want to put this graphic up as I enter in the topic, which is collecting the litter from the landscape of your life. And I was telling the experts, everyone, that this morning when I was on my morning walk, I saw a bunch of litter. Not a bunch, but I saw some things, and they were large pieces that had not moved at all. I'm telling you, in the exact, you would think the wind or something would make them move. No, they're sitting like they're like looking at me when I walk out. Yep, I'm still here. Thanks a lot, concerned citizen. I was like, well, I'm going to take a bag with me next time and a glove. And as I see litter on my walk, pick it up. And so they said, great, because what you do with the way you treat the landscape around your tangible life, it's a pretty good indicator of how you're treating the landscape within your life. And I was like, I like that. So I came right home and did a reel on it because I really believe we get great clues from beyond as to our greatest content is found in the day that we're literally living or that day we have just most recently lived, depending on when the reflection occurs. So anyway, I thought we could talk about today how we each consciously help the people we serve collect the litter from within the landscapes of their lives. So, and litter just means things that were carelessly thrown there, tossed there. Sometimes I see litter where I have a little piece of paper that's just bugging me because it's in my ADHD pocket. And I just like, oh, it's just a cough drop wrapper. And I'm tempted for the briefest of moments to just drop it instead of carrying it. And then, no, I'll just carry it, keep it in my hand to remind me to get rid of it as soon as I'm in front of a receptacle. So just little mind development things that I use. So before we start, okay, reset coach. How are you, Tracy?
I'm great.
Good. This is Emily Nader. She's a new expert.
Hi, Emily.
And that's
Hi.
Tracy
Nice
and
to
D
meet you,
Grant.
Tracy.
And of course, D. Grant. Hello.
Hi,
Yes.
Tracy. Good to see you.
You
Who
as
knows where
well.
Dominique is? She might be still visiting some other planet during the night. She astro projects or whatever you call it. And badass Jamie Lane is her son Brendan's school times changed, so she's trying to figure out how to get in here. So anyway, we have a topic today: collecting the litter from the landscape of your life. And so we're gonna watch a little clip while you get your thoughts together, and then come back and really just go around the circle about how we each do this within our own journey and how we assist the people we serve in collecting the litter that's strewn across the landscape of their lives. So we're going to start with this little brief clip, which I like. It is how to empty your mind, which could be filled with garbage or something like that. And here we go. Let's take a look at this.
Once a monk was walking through the marketplace with his disciples. They saw a man dragging a cow by a rope. He was trying to take her home, but the cow did not want to go and was not moving even an inch. A lot of time passed like this. The monk told the man to wait and asked his disciples to surround them. Then the monk said to the disciples, I am going to teach you something. And he continued, Tell me, who is bound to whom? Is the cow bound to this man, or the man is bound to the cow? Who is master and who is slave? The disciple said without hesitation, Of course, master, the cow is bound to the man. The man is the master, he is holding the rope. The cow has to follow him wherever he goes. The man is the master and the cow is the slave. Then the monk said, Now watch this. And he took a pair of scissors from his bag and cut the rope. As soon as he cut the rope, the cow ran away from the master, and the man started running after his cow. Then the monk said, Look, what is happening now? Do you see who the master is? The cow is not at all interested in this man. The cow, in fact, is trying to escape from him. In fact, the man is bound to her. That's why he is running behind her. Then he said, like the cow, all the nonsense that we carry inside our head is not interested in us, but we are interested in it. We are keeping it. The moment we lose interest in all the garbage filled in our head, it will start to disappear. Like the cow, it will escape and disappear. If we see in our life, we will find that this is the case with our mind too. We consider ourselves honor of many things and individuals, but in reality, we are not their owners, but slaves. They are the owners because we need them. Like the cow, all the nonsense that we carry inside our minds, like anger, jealousy, hate, fear, etc., is not interested in us, but we are interested in it. We are keeping it together for years and not wanting to empty and free our minds. We do not want to release the grip, and instead, our mind wants to further entangle us and feel overjoyed. The moment we lose interest in all this garbage that has completely filled our thoughts, we will understand the futility of it and it will start to disappear. Like a cow, it will escape and disappear and run to safety. Therefore, always remember that feeling free and relaxed is a choice. Then why not take that choice and enjoy the beautiful life that is given to us? Because an empty mind is a blissful state. This is Words of Wisdom, Inspirational Stories. Thanks for watching and keep smiling.
Okay. Okay, so who Tracy, if you don't put your hands back on the wheel, are you letting your car drive itself? You're muted.
Sorry. No, I don't have one of those. I have to drive it.
Oh, I have one of those and it's scary. Does anyone here have a car that can drive itself? Oh my goodness. It's really, I mean, it's the wrong person. I'm the wrong person for them to allow to try that because I'm like, huh. So next thing you know, it's on cruise control and it's driving itself. So first I was like, well, like this. And then it said, put your hands back on the wheel. It has to detect your hands so you haven't fallen asleep or something. But it was really interesting because it taught me to loosen the grip just enough because you have to allow the wheel to move on the curves in your hand, but not to control it or you're fighting it. Really was a powerful lesson. But I said I better stop because next thing you know, with cruise control, I'll just lay down flat on the whole front seat. And just like next thing you know, well, we don't want that. But anyway, the litter of your life. I know that was a real ADHD moment. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the whole cow thing and all that. Okay, I get it. But let's talk about. So what I mean is, I was giving the analogy or the literal thing. How I saw trash that had not moved up from the landscape from a week ago when I did this walk. I go out and walk once a week this route, and I was like, well, why is that still there? And it kept saying because you left it here. I didn't leave that there, but when you passed and acknowledged it, and wasn't prepared just in case it was still there, like by bringing a bag, you are no different than the person who threw it down. So I was like, okay, so that could apply to inside my world. So who wants to take it first about how you personally, and then how you help the people that you serve to acknowledge and do something about the litter that may have flown out of somebody's window, or it was, it's carried in the wind, but landed within your area of control, your neighborhood, your own yard, your own property lines, or the landscape you choose to walk through here and here. So I know, don't you just love it? I do. So, Bella Purpose, who wants to go first? Should we throw Emily under the first time bus?
I can take it.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. I'm actually excited because, well, I'm always excited. Maybe not always, but that I actually, like, exactly a year ago, I heard that story about the cows from Thich Nhat Hanh, and I did this exercise where I released the cows in my life, and I wrote, like, on a piece of paper, I literally wrote cows in my life, and then I listed out, like, everything that I was, like, worried about, everything that was on my mind that I just wanted to, like, release and, like, no longer be, like, attached to me or me attached to it. And then I lit the paper on fire. And then that I had, like, a burning ceremony for it and released all the cows in my life. It's so funny that that's what that video was. But
Yay.
so doing that, it felt so good that I continue to do that, and that's kind of what I try to help other people with. I guess that's, like, one tool that I use is writing it down. Because when I start to go crazy and, like, my room is cluttered too, and, like, my environment, not even, like,
Yes.
trash, but it's just, like, things that are important to me, I guess, enough, like, where I have, like, stacks of books now I'm looking over here, it's like, do I really even touch them? It's just where they are now. But I never look at them, and I want to. So I try to declutter and then decluttering the mind by using paper, pen and paper. And then if I really want to release it, I will light it on fire, and it feels really
Wow.
good.
Wow. That's powerful. Good news. We're live back on all the Facebook platforms except for one. I don't know what's wrong with that one. But guess what happened? I was trying to get the codes to change the password and stuff, and then I heard the voice say, Lauren, you haven't even tried to remember to see if you remember the actual password. I said, yes, I did. I put in, I almost said it out loud. Da-da-da-da-da. You changed it to da-da-da-da-da $. And I was like, well, how do I know that was the sequence? That could have been 5 times ago, because I change them every time I get locked out. So anyway, I did it, and it worked. So again, the clutter was the piece of litter I just picked up was not believing I had what I needed to fix it just like that without going through all those frustrating steps. And I believe that was the test all along now. Trust yourself just a little bit more. So I just picked up a piece of trash that wasn't serving me, and it helped me find a version of my higher self. Even that. So yay. Okay. So Emily, did you tell us so now that you know what you did, how does that look when you're helping someone you serve? Because you have a lot of clients. How do you help them? What is the road you take them down to get them to identify, to constantly declutter, or to keep the inside of their world dusted off like they're attempting to keep the outside of their world, the tangibles?
Right. I think that questions are the key. So they deep down know themselves what they need and what they should be doing, and how to take care of themselves. I could give them the tool, like, hey, I like to write this down and burn it, but they will find their way, and I guide them with questions.
Nice. Turning them inward.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because and I love that process, because that is how you kick off that promise that if you seek, you shall find. So when you have a question, you immediately start seeking the answer. So the process has begun. Great, great. How about the other lady in the house, Tracy? Why did you mute yourself when you were ready to talk? See, that's that driving. Oh, okay, we're gonna wait.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, I don't.
No worries. How are you?
I took my glasses off, so I
First, no
can't see
hands
as
on the
well.
wheel. Then she took her glasses off.
And
Okay.
she's driving while she's talking. Let's pray for all the people on the road with
You
Tracy.
see what I'm doing? I mean it. Okay, Tracy. So you get the question. It's really a two-parter.
Yeah.
And for those of you just joining because Facebook was on one, but now we're back. Our topic today is collecting the litter from the landscape of your life, and
Hmm.
we have a little graphic just picking this shit up as you see it as you move through all the concourses within your being. So Tracy, go ahead. What do you got for us?
Well, something that I learned from you because I'm constantly releasing, right, and especially after going back to corporate, but really being able to speak to it, whatever it is, right, and calling it out, giving it a name, and really talking to it so that I can move past it, push it to the side, whatever needs to be done there. But really being able to speak to it by calling it out because, I had a habit of not really identifying what that litter was before, not really calling it by name. So now that I am starting to do that, things are moving to the side. And I actually, every time I come into your space and your energy, Dr. Lauren, things start to happen because I start to remember the things that we always talk about and I implement these things. And I just got a great call this morning. So things will be moving to the side once again. So this is why my smile is probably bigger
Oh,
because listen, things start to happen when you start to release and when you start to name these things and move it to where it needs to go, when you start to identify things. So that's one of the things that I've been working on for myself. I love what Emily said about writing it down and burning it, because then you get rid of it that way as well. So that's what I do now. That's how I release it, and that just comes from,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I want to say, it's so interesting how we all, when this is what I love about illuminated conversations, how we all have different names for the same process and how it was brought in. And it's just like, that's what makes me know that, okay, why all mankind has an even chance, no matter where you are, what time you were born or living in. We all have that same opportunity one way or another. And it's like anything that has a moral to it, whether it's Aesop's fables, nursery rhymes, Mother Goose, hieroglyphics, Confucius says, Indian folklore, slave stories. Wherever you find something and the moral of the story is, you'll find duplicitous examples of the same thing. For instance, Farmer's Almanac, put one foot on both sides of the fence, you piss down the middle. The Bible, don't be lukewarm, be hot or cold. Same thing, just brought in a different way for a different time and a different group of people, but so that you can never say, no one can say, well, I didn't know. So yes, absolutely. We do talk about that a lot in the coaching. D Grant, you coach with me. So, Emily, you're the only oddball here that doesn't know. I'm just kidding. But Tracy's right. We do talk about that. How important it is to name the litter, the things that do not serve you. And the reason I always suggest that, because when Greater Than showed that to me, it's like, if you don't name it, Lauren, it's like you're chasing butterflies without a net, because things that do not serve us don't have a flight pattern. Like a bird lights from this limb to that limb, or a butterfly lights on this flower, or a bee to this flower to that place, with an objective in mind. Butterflies, if you run around trying to catch them without a net, and so you got to know, when you name it, you get the right size net. You see what I'm saying? Because not all butterflies are the same size. So it's just like networking is working the net. Fishers of Mint, Tracy.
Yeah, I just wanted to simply say, how can you really remove something that you won't identify?
You won't identify.
Right.
exactly right. And I always
Yeah.
use the example of, hello, hey Gail, how you doing, girl? Shitty. Why? Just because. Because of what? Everything. What everything? That job. What about that job? All of it. When she should have said, I'm in a bad mood because I'm dealing with something with that bitch Gwen in HR at B&M Plastics. Now we know, well, you need to go to Gail's office, right? Because now everything has a name, which every time we heard the name, we saw the spot of the place. And that's where in the world is Carmen San Diego. It tells you where to go to start solving. But when you say all those vague things, that's how it keeps running around in the house of your life, like haunting you. I call them rattling chains and ghosts and things that don't go. The haunting. It's the haunting, which leads to the possession. Which right. So anyway, okay, D Grant, what about you? What say you about this whole thing about collecting the litter?
What say I?
Yeah.
Well, Emily's practice of writing things down is a very big part of my life. I keep journals and notebooks and stuff everywhere, as you know, Lauren. Writing down ideas, writing down revelations, writing down things that God's telling me. But one of the things that I'm becoming continually, I think this is an ongoing growth process. We never fully graduate, we never get to the end, but it's recognizing when in my own life, you can call it litter, I can call it a terrible story. So what terrible story am I continuously repeating to myself or imagining over and over again? Or what am I focusing my mental energy on and kind of envisioning as happening that's then contributing to my emotional state in the way that I see myself and the way that I feel about myself? And all of those things come together, and that ends up creating my experience. And so if I recognize that I don't want to live in garbage, not only do I need to take the garbage out of the outside of me, but I had to take the garbage out of the inside of me and stop trudging along in the dump uh, that is or can be, the mental negative story. And so I applied the same sort of principle. I was talking about this with Emily a minute ago. Like whatever our roots are, and all of us have the same roots. When you get down into the soil beneath the soil beneath the soil, the root for all of us is love. But we can have also buried down in there a bunch of thorns and weeds and crap that is distorting our understanding and our ability to fully operate from that deep root center. And so this is the way that I go about doing it in my life. Is I can spend a lot of time trying to unearth all of that crap, or I can put my focus and my energy on what it is that I want and continue to repeat that story to myself. And all the nasty crap will unearth itself, or alchemy will be performed and transmute, and it will become something that it wasn't before. It will transmute and turn itself into the love and the happiness and the joy and the peace and the vibrancy and the abundance. And so when I'm serving and working with other people, as a storyteller, it's easy for me to recognize stories. So when people are telling me about their stuff and they keep telling me about some of the same stuff, I'm like, well, obviously you've got a little story here. Have you looked at the story you're telling yourself? And they're like, I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, so this is an easier way to do it. You don't have to change your entire equilibrium and rewrite your DNA code. You're not doing that necessarily. You're just becoming aware of what is the story that you're telling yourself, and is that a story you want to live in?
I agree. Now, I'm going to throw another little idea out and see how you each, what you do with it. So I'll get ready. Here it comes. So I believe that another reason this litter is so important, because let's say, like I was talking about the big plastic thing that some lettuce came in. I mean, one of those huge ones, that organic, that good lettuce comes in, right? That cheap lettuce comes wrapped in that cellophane. That's a Saran wrap, right? We know nobody eat that anymore. So anyway, and nothing personal if you do, just saying. But let's say it's a little gum wrapper or something, that little bitty I ain't picking up that little bitty thing. But I'll tell you this, when we don't keep dusting off the mantle places, the places in our world where we keep those things that are revered, You clear place on the mantle, or you even create a space for things before you even manifest it. When I get that award, it's going to go right there. How many times have we done that sort of thing? Exactly. But what a lot of us miss is when we step over or walk around or ignore or whatever it is, put on the blinders to whatever thing that does not belong. What we're risking is why you hear me say all the time, things that do not serve you must go. The longer you allow them to remain, the more time you're giving them to convince you or trick you into serving them. And what I mean by that is this: things that do not serve us never take their shoes off when they walk into our pristine white carpet or white marble, whatever you've manifested the floor of your life to look like. I choose white so I can see anything that is a foreign thing. Like, oh, what is that little speck? I can see it. So the thing I've learned about things that do not serve us, that they are shapeshifters above all things. They're sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, anything to deceive us into believing something other than what is going to serve us. So therefore, a little bitty piece of litter that I consciously choose to leave provides a place for a big ass giant footprint of something that size 42 shoes that doesn't serve me. Its footprint can hide under a speck of dust if I don't choose to dust, because I'm looking at things from the naked eye instead of this one, the third eye, that one that can see beyond what is clearly all we think is there. And so if that makes any sense, I look for ways, and I want to hear from each of you now, what do you have in place that allows you to process and see things from an objective that serves you so that you can be consistent with it. And that thing I just talked about, I see a white carpet when something isn't right, or something something feels off, or I wake up and I don't feel like this guy, and I reach for those things I have in place to remind me of who I am. And still, so now I started the process. I'm seeking what is off, where is it, and I start scanning the horizon. What is that over there? That lawn is all green. It looks like golf carpet. But what's that white thing way out there? Nobody's played any golf. That isn't a ball. We might assume it's just a ball you missed. And you don't walk over and you don't check it out. So hopefully you get what I'm asking there. How do you scan the landscape? How often do you do it? Do you go out?
Well, we got a frozen screen. This happens regularly, Emily, so just be prepared. And usually it freezes him in the most, interesting face. Okay, he's back now.
He's right. So anyway, okay. So there it is. When you walk the property, when you walk your own landscape, what is your process? Do you walk the landscape, or do you say, I'm just going to worry about the front yard, and if the wind blows anything within what I can see, I'll pick it up or not? How do you do it? Or do you do it? Why don't we start with D. Grant on this and we'll go backwards.
All right. Well, a couple things. I becoming more conscious of what are the thoughts that I'm thinking and what is it that I'm entertaining in my mind. And so this has been a big part of actually my summer, and becoming more consciously aware of what are my thoughts, what are my imaginations. Now, it's one thing for me to just go into some sort of affirmation place and tell myself I am good enough, I am worthy, I am love, I am successful, I am all this stuff. But for a little while, that's a great place to start if you haven't done any of those things before. But after a while, it can get to be this thing where you're just regurgitating something in your head, but you're not actually absorbing it and you're not actually living from that, and being more aware of, okay, what are the thoughts beneath the thoughts that are triggering me to think in a negative way or hold myself back or shrink back or whatever. And so this is just an ongoing process for me of being more and more aware in any given moment. What state of consciousness am I operating from? Am I really operating as the best version of myself? And if I'm not, why not? And spending also some time, I've been doing some just body work stuff, where feeling into my body and feeling where I'm like asking my body, where do I feel stress? Where do I feel doubt? Where do I feel fear? And sitting with those feelings instead of trying to change them or telling them to go away, and being present with myself and with my emotions. And I find that like I said before, the litter takes care of itself.
Huh. And I get that because I remember when they told me, those that are greater than I, Lauren, when you really master pouring all of your divine energy into your work, those things that do not serve you will automatically remove themselves. You won't have to worry about them as nearly as much as you do currently. And and I'm so proud of you, Emily. When I popped badass Jamie Lane in, I thought your pupils would dilate because she was sitting there, hey, so when'd you ride in? I run this yard, and like as she lights her joint, anything you want to do in this place, you got to run it through me, you see? Right. And you just sat there like it was the most normal thing in the world. Radical, badass Jamie Lane. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
What's up, motherfuckers?
See?
What is up?
Yes, Emily's a pastor. She's a preacher's kid, so I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't care if she was.
I know, we know. So, yes, you'll have to get to know her as we finish up. But this is our topic today. I'll pop it back in because I wanted to see. I wanted to see everyone to see the names. Collecting the litter from the landscape of your life. Do you just step over stuff? Do you go around and pick it up? And what do you do to police your own area in your life? So we'll start with you so you can catch up a little. What process do you have? This was the original question, Jamie. What process, if any, do you have that you use within your own journey where you pick up the litter, things that aren't serving you, get rid of them? And how do you show people that you serve how to do the same thing, how to clean up the litter in the landscape of their lives?
Well, being a Gen Xer, a big writer, basically, here's the thing. If it's not a resource and it's not sustainable, get rid of it. That's simple. If you simplify shit, people try to overcomplicate shit. And people aren't honest with themselves. So, for me, I look around, like my room right now, we're going through a transition. I look at something. Is that a resource? No. Is it sustainable? Could it be something? No, it's gone. If it's a resource or sustainable, I keep it. If things get a little too jumbled for me, I'm a big list maker. I've a shit ton of notebooks. So a lot of my stuff's written down. And once it's written down, if I can't mark it off, if it, whatever, then, I don't keep shit. I don't keep litter around. I don't keep garbage around. That's not, something I do. So for me, a lot of identifying, you have to be truthful with yourself.
Yeah, the same thing Tracy said.
Be truthful with yourself, because if you're just sitting around and be like, oh my gosh, I so need this, I'm going to tell everybody on Facebook I need it too. Hold on. And then what? Robert Brooker.
Robert Brooker.
So
keep going.
The biggest thing is be truthful with yourself. If it's not a resource and it's not sustainable, get rid of it. Like social media, a lot of that. But anyway, just identify it. Identify what it is. And then get rid of it. A lot of writing for me. Mantras. I had to incorporate mantras. I had to say it. I had to write it down. I looked at it, put it away, looked at it. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Automatically. When you bring things in that are healthy habits and things, you replace that bullshit.
I want to bring something up there, though. Mantras, because I want everybody to jump in on this one. Because where was the last place I spoke? Here in Chicago a couple weeks ago. In Kansas City, the week before that. It came out of my mouth, and I was like, should I have said that? Oh, yeah. But then somebody came up to me and said that was one of the biggest takeaways today, is when I said, quit doing shit you don't mean, like affirmations, vision boards. Because the thing is, and I didn't say stop doing affirmations and vision boards. I said stop doing shit you don't mean. to make it look like you're going through stuff. For instance, how many times, I know everybody's guilty of it, when people say, oh, my mama's on her deathbed and or whatever the case is, oh, girl, I'm praying for you. And they consider hitting the prayer hands, ain't uttered one word of a prayer. Ain't even tooted their lips to say, oh, dear Lord, or whatever they ascribe to, please send healing, light, and love, or what. They just hit the emoji, go through the motions. They don't mean it. They don't mean it. So I mean it like that. So what's the difference between when you say affirmations, Jamie Lane, because I believe when we mean things, we mean what you say and say what you mean, those things become meaningful, full of meaning, which means overflow. The cup overflows. Now other people get something from it. If you're just you're trying to serve, just going through the cookie cutter thing, it's trying to serve from an empty cup. Right? So when you say you have affirmation, tell us what that looks like. Do you get up every day and sit in a spot and say, universe, or what do you do? Stand on one foot and scratch your head, pat the top. That's my affirmation. What is it for you, Jamie?
For me, well, I had to establish a routine. I had to establish that I was going to say it. I had to establish that I wanted it. That was a huge process, but you actually have to start writing it down. And after I did that, I looked at it. Then I say it all the time. If I'm feeling like at night, here are my mantras at night. I am in control of my emotions. I am in control of my emotions, or whatever it is. I want to be toxic free. I want to be whatever, but mostly it's I am in control. I can do this. Love-based decisions.
Empowering.
Yeah, exactly. Those are things I tell myself, and it helps me wake up calm. It helps me know. I also listen to sound bowls at frequencies that to connect to my body.
Who knows what those are? What is really?
It's free.
What's a
healing
bowl?
singing bowls?
It gets to your DNA. It's the sound bowls.
Oh, almost like gong therapy.
Yeah. Almost. Okay. Yep. Exactly.
You listen to that at night?
Yeah.
How do you know which one is working with you?
Well, I did some research on frequencies, DNA. So, for a long time, and then I was like, you know what? I started it about a year or so ago. Well, let me just try this. And then I just searched for, I like healing vibrations. He's the best one because he's the most calm. People who say they can do sound bowls, it's all like, I'm like, ow, you're all over the place. Stop. But he's really smooth and calm, and he knows which ones to do. Emily seems familiar, the small, big ones, whatever it is. He knows how to work them right. So healing vibrations, it's a dude. And then he has ones for dogs too. But I read what he wrote them for, and he seems knowledgeable. So I read his titles. If you want it for sleep, if you want, well, I read one for feminine energy. I'd never seen one like that. So I just tried it, and me being 45 is, I climacteric. So my body is going through changes and transitions. So it just means your body's in
I get it.
Yeah. So
I get it.
That really helps me because it puts my body in a state of calm, and I am present. I am aware. I am calm. I enact the pact. For me, that's what I do.
I see now. Okay. So now I'm thinking, okay, that's it. It is a different kind of affirmation because I go to sleep every night and I ask, because I go to bed first, 8:30, and I ask Alexa to play thunderstorms, right? And and they play like the stringed intro, da, 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 and then starts and gone, right? And so that is an affirmation. It is an agreement. It is a covenant that I am seeking this, and I find it within you.
Yeah.
Peace is a place. It's a state of mind. That's why people say, I just want a little peace and quiet. Peace is a place. And I find it in the thunderstorm. I find it in the crashing of waves when I sit and watch the water, that sort of thing. But I never find it within chaos. Emily.
Can I mention something?
Go ahead, Tracy.
I just wanted to mention something because everything is energy, right? And if you start to pay attention to your energy, you can start to change things. And I just wanted to give an example because this is what I did last week, being very intentional about changing my energy. So I was getting frustrated about, like, I couldn't sign in. Every day was like a task to sign in to the corporate world, right? And I just kept getting frustrated. So every day I would walk in frustrated. And I had to remind myself, pay attention to your energy because everything is connected, right? So once I did that and I started to release the frustration, and I started saying to the computer, like, we're going to become one today, right? It made such a difference. And I was able to log in first time every time I changed my
And you were
energy.
logging
So
into what world?
I was into the corporate world, right? But I had to, I know, I know. But I had to change my energy. And see, it has to be different, right? I know.
Okay, y'all, we get it.
However,
Okay, sorry,
when you
Tracy.
change your energy around it, things change, right? So I just wanted to mention that because it is everything. It's huge. And it's not just people, it's things, even in your environment. When you start to change your energy, things change.
That is true. That is true. Y'all reminded me. I said no. I loaded all these just for this show every night. Okay, who hasn't gone? Emily, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to tie some things together that I've been like, as everyone's sharing. So a lot for me, and like, I guess when Tracy was saying you have to name it, and a lot of that too, sometimes I've felt where I can't name it. Something's there, but like I don't know what it is. So in those situations, um, asking for clarity, because that's where a lot of that clutter comes from too, which is like, I guess in the second topic we are talking about, I guess what we do. And for me, I try to ask for clarity, and I always find it when I'm able to sit still, essentially, not even sitting, but when I'm really still and present within myself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tools that I've used and where I've found answers, and they all had to do with energy, because I've just been letting myself kind of discover new healing tools. And so I've done Reiki, which I've gotten profound answers from. I've done the singing bowls, and I did a 528 hertz like frequency, a loving energy or a loving frequency. And that was like, some of the meditations I've done from that have been insane, where I'm just like sitting in that frequency and I'm just like crying. And these thoughts and like this clarity comes to me where it's like this perspective that I've never had before. And it's just like in that moment, it's like you can't unknow what you had just learned, or what I had just learned from like receiving that clarity. So it just like changes me moving forward. And I don't know. So I do a bunch of things like that as well. But ultimately, whatever seeking clarity looks like for you, it's like if you need to sit in prayer, because I do that as well.
Yeah.
I'll talk to God every night, and I have a gratitude practice before I go to bed, and it helps me kind of poop everything out of my brain, everything that doesn't matter.
We love
And
pooping, don't we, Tracy?
Just poop all the
We're partners.
Poop
we want to do
partners.
gratitude. Like if we focus on the things that we love too, we just like get more of that into our life. Kind of like what Tracy's saying, and you be one with your computer. And
That was for the
there's
poop.
lots of thoughts going on up here, but I just poop them out myself.
That's it. You got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Whatever analogy or mindset you need to adapt in order to, even if it's from the food service industry, FIFO, first in, first out, to keep rotating. In order to have room to pick something up, you sometimes have to lay something down. To be reborn, the phoenix, you have to die to something. The skulls, the phoenix. Find the juxtaposition and implement it on a routine basis, a practice, so that it can become, because what kills me is that they always refer to it as second nature, and natural is to the first order.
Exactly. Mother
So-
Earth. When you get back to nature, that helps me. Getting back outside, getting in the grass, talking to the plants, talking to my animal. You know what I'm saying? Feed the
Hugging the trees.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Back-
Exactly. Well, I am excited that we have talked about this, collecting the litter from the landscape of your life. So I would suggest this as we get out of here. And thank you so much, experts, and welcome, Emily. I hope we haven't scared you off and you'll come back next month.
He's not
Right around the middle of the month, right? And you guys really do whatever you need to do to just keep picking up the poop. Trash bag, poop bag, whatever it is. When you check the property, get out and walk your property. Know where the property lines exist. Know when it's your neighbor's problem and not your own. And sometimes you might have to stretch over with a stick or with your bare hand or your spiritual hand into an area that doesn't belong to you, but you're just tired of walking past the litter. Take that, think about it, and keep moving towards that version of your higher self. Thank you so much, experts. We got to get out of here. Time is up, but it was a great day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie, for rushing in. We really appreciate it. Hope we'll see you next month.
Good to see you, Jamie.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
Nice to meet you all.
You too.
Good to meet you,
Emily.
Emily.
You as well, Emily.
Yay. One big happy family, and that includes all of you. Listen, get out of here. I'll meet you tomorrow morning, God willing, right over there on the front porch. But together we have yet another illuminated conversation. As and always, when we leave, I tell you and I mean it. I love, love, love you. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Get out of here. Have the best day ever. Find your highest self. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, experts. Great job, as always. Bye-bye. Why can't I get out of here?
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time.